Hello everybody, welcome to this new episode of Data Integration with Talend ESB. On today's episode, I would like to introduce you to how to work with SQLite on Talend ESB. So let's get started. Let me just show you what we have here. I have the library that we're going to use, that is SQLite GDBC. You should have also SQLite running in your system. I will start by creating a database, a simple database, so that we can work with. Let me just a database with SQLite is very simple. We just have to type in SQLite 3 space sample. This is the name of my database. You can name yours whatever you want. Mine is called sample. So once I already created my database, it is an empty database. I will then proceed and create a table inside of it. There you go, table has been created. Now I need to populate that table with some data. There you go. This can also be accomplished from the inside Talend. Okay, now we have a database with some stuff in it. I will just make a select to see what we have in there. Select from company, select everything from company. Oops, sorry about that. Select everything from company. Okay, so we have 6 records in our database. Very good. Our database name is called sample, if I'm not mistaken. It's called sample, right? So I will make sure that we got the correct name right here. We're gonna use this later on. First, let me just start by creating the route, right? So I will create a route. I will call this sample SQLite Pro. First thing that we're going to do here is use the component cconfig. Click enter, double click on this component, and as I told you before, we're going to use the library for SQLite called SQLite GDBC. I have the version 3.20.1, so I will copy the exact version and on a plus, add plus on dependencies and add it as a dependency. As you can see right now, it turned red. If I double click on it, it looks fine now. Why does that happen? Well, I actually have installed the library before in another project, so it will be sufficient to just provide the name, the exact name in this dependencies area. If you haven't installed this library yet, you will be presented with a red or orange like box in which just by clicking on it you will be guided through the process of installation, and you have to select from your local folder, or it will just also suggest a target to download. So now it is done. I have my library in place. Next thing I will do is, as always, set the timer. Set timer. With this timer, what I do is just I simulate the route. I simulate that the route will run once, right? Because this is not a real integration task, just a demo. For the demo purposes, I use ctimer. Next, I will use the cmessaging endpoint. Well, this is a very versatile component that you can use for a lot of different things. In this case, we're going to tap here on advanced settings, click on plus and search for SQL. So as you can see, there are way too many things here to choose from, and I wish I could just go straight onto SQL, but that doesn't work that way. I have to scroll down until I find SQL. Now I found it, and if I go back to back settings, I have here the box where I can provide a URI, right? I can actually type in my query. The problem is Talend doesn't know where to find my database, so for that we need to go to the configuration of Spring. I click on Spring, I go back to my notepad, get it, and here I have my bin configuration, right? I just click somewhere where I can paste it, and this is quite straightforward. The only thing we have here is this class, Spring Framework GDBC data source driver manager data source. Yeah, that's all. There's no dot there. Then we have two parameters here, two properties. One is driver class name, and we provide org sqlite GDBC, and then we have the URI or URL, whatever you might want to call it. So, and it has the value GDBC column sqlite column slash path, absolute path to my file. So once that is done, I can then come back here onto my C messaging endpoint and type in my query. Query I'm going to type is a very simple: select everything from company. So let's make sure that I have my exact good name of my database, which is fine. So the next thing I want to do is use the clog and connect these two components so that once the query is run, the output will be displayed on this clog component. I just typed in body, and that should be it. Now if I run build and run, should be able to see the result if everything went fine. If no, it might tell me what I did wrong. So I think I know what I did wrong, but let me just go into the error messaging, what it's telling us. It says it couldn't find the endpoint, basically. Well, what happened is, I know what happened because I always make the same mistake, is that I forgot to mention here SQL column, right? If I do it again, then it is now printing all the contents from that database. If I want to filter a little bit my contents, my output, I want, let's say, only the first record to be displayed, then I just refer to the array position 0, and there you go. It will give me some k-pair values. So if I only want to see the salary of that particular record, I can use the same method, but this time referring to the key, and it will return the value of the salary of the first record. It should be 20,000. There you go. So this query is rather simple, right? It's just a 3-words query. You might have a query which is far more complex than this one and wouldn't fit properly in this little box here, right? So in those cases, what you do is you use the class path. You can use the class path, and by doing that you say class path, and then my query query.sql, right? This is my query.sql, and then you can add your query into the resources by just right click onto resources, finish, and here you can write your query. Select everything from company. There we go. Save. Now I need to add this file as a dependency, right? Otherwise my class path instruction wouldn't be able to find it. So if I click again and run again, it should work the exact same way, right? Yes, there we go. So you can directly type our query here, or we can use the class path, add the file into resources. We can play around with the output, because what it returns is an array with hash maps tables inside. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you today. Hope it was helpful. Thanks for watching, and cheers.